15 losses, guys. Today was a strange game.
It was.
It wasn't our worst performance, but it wasn't our greatest. We had some good spells, not so good spells. But overall, it's a lack of quality, lack of strikers, lack of clinical finishing. And and then a moment of brilliance from Sarabia, man, who, I had on my fantasy, and that's about the best bit about it. You know what I mean? What a free kick it was.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
And you know what it is, bro? Like, it's just not great in the Premier League, man. And we've been losing and losing and losing, bro. For Amorim to have 6 wins in 22 or 21 games?
22 games.
22 games, yeah.
That's scandalous.
It's scandalous when you deep it, man.
It's an absolute scandal.
Bro, you can't really put it into anything else. You can't dress it up in any way.
You can't. Scandalous, disgusting, diabolical. Pick a word to describe it. Embarrassing, unacceptable. Shameful. Any word you want to use, to describe it. There's no defense. I don't care what players we have. Yeah. They're better than 6 and 22.
But you know what? If the last 6 months with Amorim were like today, I'd be optimistic for next season. I could defend him because today the lack of quality showed. Obvious.
Yeah.
Obvious. Yeah. But today was not the previous days because we had some good bits. Like first half, I was happy. I can't lie. I thought it was one of the good performances we had recently. Good control.
Good control. Yeah.
Making little combos. The young players that came in, Fredrickson and Amas, they look good. They had very good fun. I thought at least. But if it was always like this, but you can see the lack of quality, as we've seen today, I would say, you know what? Amorim is doing a fine job. Or at least his job is very difficult. So with better players, I expect better things to come. But today, in general, not today. In general, it's not like this.
It isn't, yeah, man. It's crazy, man. I think that's 5 teams now that have done a double over us. That is a point.
Games. you expect
that is that? Yeah. I know. I was going to say that is what 30 points lost from teams that's beaten us twice. And under Amorim, I think most of them have come under Amorim, which is mad. I believe,
Ten Hag wasn't here long enough to play most teams twice. That's why.
Yeah.
Because he left in November. So I think
how many games did Amorim? No, how many games did Ten Hag lose? By the way, I'm trying to think. West Ham game.
Well, we know this. We lost 15. So if we lost 15 already, we just have to total it up. How many games we've lost in total?
Yeah. That's a better way.
Yeah. If Amorim's wait. So we've lost 15 games in total. How many?
Amorim's lost 12.
So that means he lost 3.
3.
Yeah.
He means people say 4. 4. He lost 4.
Oh, he lost 4. So that means Amorim's lost 11 then.
Yeah,
because we've lost 15. Basic maths, people. It's not my forte, but
yeah. No. That's it. Yeah, Amorim has lost 4. Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So Ten Hag lost West Ham. He lost to Tottenham. He lost to Liverpool. And he lost to Brighton.
Yeah, but we always lose to Brighton. We always lose to Brighton.
And
always pack us up.
And Ten Hag was sacked after how many games, guys?
November.
How many games was Ten Hag sacked?
Was it 14? Well, Ten Hag's had 22 matches, right? I mean, Amorim's had 22 matches.
28 because he won 6 and lost. No, exactly. He had 22 games. You're right.
Yeah, 22 matches, and we're on 33.
No, but then Ruud had 4 games.
Yeah, exactly.
He had Chelsea.
Yeah.
He had Leicester. He had.
Let me just go back up the fixture list now.
Yeah, let me know in the chat, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to work it out to see what one. I'm saying, guys.
We had Leicester. Did we play? Wait, no, that was before that. Sorry, my bad. Let me just further up.
I think maybe a couple of them was Carabao Cup. One of them was
one of them was a Europa League game as well. Yeah, because Amorim's first game was Ipswich, so his 4 games he played was Leicester in the EFL Cup, Chelsea, PAOK, and Leicester. They're the 4 games. So there's only
so it's only 2.
It's only 2 Premier League games in his run. Yeah.
So then Ten Hag had how many games then?
So 24 of them. 24 of them are Amorim and Ruud. because
Yeah.
Rude had 4. Wait, I'm confused because we're talking defeats. So Rude had 4.
I think it was 9 games. 9 games.
There we go. 9 games.
Yeah, 9 games.
We lost 4 in 9.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they sacked him. We lost 4 in 9.
He was a bum, let's be real.
He was a problem as well. He was always going to be up.
Amorim took us worse than that. How did you go worse than 4 in 9?
Yeah, no. That's mad. And also, Ten Hag lost to 20 members as well. He lost to 20.
Nah, we drew.
No. Yeah, we drew. Sorry, we drew to 20. But
don't do that. We're the only unbeaten.
We drew to Porto. Remember, we're 2-0 up against Porto. We drew to them.
Yeah, we drew to Porto. Yeah.
We drew to Fenerbahce as well. Remember, we were drawing we were bottom of the group member in the Europa League. We're like
because we drew the first. We drew the first 3 games.
Porto,
Fenerbahce.
Yeah, we just don't win basically.
Yeah, we just had it was pure draws.
Yeah, man. So it's been like the cycle of Man United in the league. It's been very, very bad. Like so people that say, "Oh, Ten Hag was not worse and whatnot," Ten Hag. There's a chance that Ten Hag has this sort of season. Maybe it's not 14, 15 losses in a row, but there's a situation that Ten Hag also could have had this amount of losses as well. You know what I mean?
You don't have us 3 points above 17 for probably 10 points above 17.
Yeah,
that's probably the difference. That's
it's about comparable.
Yeah, but it's all dreadful. Like I keep saying, with Amorim's took us from dreadful to diabolical.
No.
Them are acceptable. Ten Hag was dreadful. Amorim's worse.
It's been terrible.
Yeah,
and that's just saying. By the way, that's just calling it for what it is. Doesn't mean what Flores is saying that he's manager out. He's just saying.
Let me just clarify that.
Yeah, because you have to clarify for the people.
Yeah, you have to do because people say, "Oh, you know why? Because I want these players gone first."
First facts, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I want these now. If the players go and they say, "Hey, Amorim, you can go with them," cool, because this is unacceptable. However, players first, and the ownership. Look, I've been looking at you lot since you lot got in, because this could be deja vu all over again. I feel like we're literally. You mentioned about United being in a cycle. It feels like it's a cycle. This summer coming up feels like the Ten Hag summer. Some people want him out. Some people want him to stay. They ended up keeping him, backing him with a load of money and players, and it got worse. So what happens if they decide to keep Amorim, which they are going to, back him with a load of players, which they are going to, or some players, and then the season gets off to a terrible start? Wait until it turns November where we kind of sat 11 games in. Let's say we've 5-6 losses, couple wins, and the rest are draws. People are going to do the graphic of Ten Hag 2024 in November, just before he got sacked, and Manchester and Amorim 2020-25, and do the stats. And you know what will happen with the Premier League? Play West Ham away around that time, just the way Ten Hag got sacked.
Yeah, West Ham away. Yeah, someone like that. Someone like that.
And then people are like, Ten Hag got sacked. And then we'll be looking at them like, well, you sacked Ten Hag for this? All right.
Okay. Yeah. So, big up Omar, as you keep saying, players are better, but also brought in a total new system and philosophy where these players had to learn via game. That's the board, not Amorim. Listen, there's got to be some blame towards Amorim, like in terms of like, you know, because like it's your team, like it's your way of kind of like playing in it. Like you instruct them in training, you do this, you do that. But the player quality in the end, no man, like, oh my God, man.
And you know what? The more players we give to Ole, the worse it got, and the more players we give to Ten Hag, the worse it got. So if I'm looking at trends, it's not looking good.
Yeah, it is not looking good. Yeah, no.
If I'm looking just at trends, I'm telling you, don't get him players. Buy players for the club, but not for him. Of course, it's tongue in cheek, of course, but you get the point. The trends are not looking good.
And it ain't looking good for Amorim, and I rate Amorim, but it's like you mentioned it there. If we bring in players and get off to a terrible start, the amount of pressure he will be under and the amount of pressure the board will be under to sack him. If he's where Ten Hag was 11 games in or worse, the pressure is going to be crazy.
Yeah, no. That's why I said winning the Europa League is so crucial, yeah. Because if he doesn't, and say, for example, he is ended up still the manager, he gets his players, that next season, yeah, the start of next season is so crucial because he has to go on a little bit of a run. And I mean a run where you lose one game in your first 5. Do you get it? Like,
exactly, because
you lose one.
We've been so bad that for anything to be half decent next season at the start of the season, it needs to be a dramatic jump. That's how bad we've been. Like, even to be half decent come November next year, it needs to be dramatically better than what we are seeing now. Like, a lot better. And that would be 8th or 9th, which is not good.
Right. But Saeed, do you think?
But then I'm looking at it though. Before you go, Flawless, yeah.
Go.
I'm looking at a team like Wolves. How have they got 5 wins in a row and we've not won 2 games in a row?
You know what? I'll tell
We
you.
won 5 in a row. They were 13 points behind them. And listen, we shouldn't really gas Wolves here. Yes, they've got Konya, they've got Strand Larsen, but they have conceded more goals than us. I think they've conceded over 40 goals than us. 40 goals. So do we gas up Wolves, or do we look at ourselves and think it's damning on us, or do we praise Wolves? I'm still like, I feel like it's a bit damning though that Wolves were 13 points ahead of us, and now they've got 5 wins in a row. How have we not got 2 wins in a row?
Because you know what? There's this thing with the United fan base where criticizing the manager is a bit like a blasphemy. Like, you know, even at the moment we are criticizing the manager, and we have to make like statement like, this is not Amorim out just because we all have to criticize. Like, we are all afraid.
Yeah, we're just talking about it.
Exactly.
But it is damning.
Bear in mind, with Wolves' 5 wins, they do deserve credit, but they have also beat 5 of the worst teams in the league.
Who have they beat?
I just checked their run. So it started, they beat Southampton, they beat West Ham, they beat Ipswich, they beat Spurs, and they beat us.
But the only teams we beat in the league are Fulham and the bottom 3 and Leicester and someone.
Yeah, exactly.
And West Ham.
In them teams there, we haven't beat West Ham. We haven't beaten Tottenham. Who's the other ones you said? Ipswich we beat.
We beat
Southampton. Yeah, we beat Southampton.
Southampton, it's because Ahmad was clutch. But we were not winning that game.
Oh yeah, that's one of our worst performances, that home game. I keep saying that. Because we won 3-1, people just overlooked it. That performance, I think, is one of our worst.